Hello everyone, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, then subscribe to this channel, like and share. Progressive symbol and communist scholar Ernesto Che Guevara, brought into the world on June 14, 1928, in Rosario, Argentina, is a figure whose life and heritage significantly affect the 20th 100 years. Known for his part in the Cuban transformation and his backing for a quick battle and communist hypothesis, Guevara stays an image of progressive energy and a dubious figure in worldwide history. His journey for civil rights and his vision of global upheaval keep on impacting political talk and developments around the world. Early life: Che Guevara was naturally introduced to a working-class family with a solid political and scholarly foundation. His dad, Ernesto Guevara Lynch, was a draftsman of Irish drop, and his mom, Celia de la Serna, was an Argentine of Spanish plunge. Guevara's childhood was set apart by his family's dynamic perspectives and their association in friendly and policy-centered issues. Guevara's schooling started at the nearby school in Rosario and went on at the College of Buenos Aires, where he concentrated on medication. His time at college was described by a developing familiarity with social and policy-driven issues, especially those influencing poor people and minimized. In 1953, Guevara graduated with a practitioner training, yet his desires before long moved from rehearsing medication to participating in progressive exercises. The bike journals and progressive arousing, a significant second in Guevara's life, accompanied his movements across South America. In 1951, Guevara set out on a cruiser venture with his companion Alberto Granado, which took them through Argentina, Chile, Peru, Ecuador, and Colombia. This excursion, later chronicled in his diary The Bike Journals, presented him to the far and wide destitution, social imbalance, and political defilement in Latin America. The encounters and perceptions during this excursion were groundbreaking for Guevara. He saw the unmistakable difference between the richness of the affluent and the desperate states of the devastated. These encounters extended his obligation to progressive change and the battle against colonialism and persecution. Cuban unrest: Che Guevara's way to progressive unmistakable quality started with his contribution in the Cuban unrest. In 1955, Guevara met Fidel Castro and his sibling Raul Castro in Mexico City. The Castros were wanting to oust the U.S.-moved tyrant Fulgencio Batista in Cuba. Guevara, propelled by their goal and focused on communist philosophy, joined their development. In 1956, Guevara and the Castro siblings, alongside other progressive contenders, set out on a furtive excursion from Mexico to Cuba on board the yacht Granma. They arrived in Cuba and started a guerrilla crusade against Batista's system. Guevara immediately arose as a vital military pioneer and specialist. His devotion, discipline, and strategic abilities procured him the place of commandante, and he assumed a basic part in the fruitful guerrilla crusade. By January 1959, the progressives had overturned Batista's administration, and Fidel Castro accepted power. Guevara turned into an unmistakable figure in the new Cuban government. He was delegated to a few key positions, including pastor of industry and leader of the Public Bank of Cuba. Guevara was instrumental in carrying out land changes and nationalizing businesses, adjusting Cuba to communist standards. Hypothesis and internationalism: Guevara's vision stretched out past the Cuban upheaval. He was a defender of communist hypothesis and trusted in the need of worldwide progressive battle. In his compositions and addresses, Guevara accentuated the requirement for furnished battle and hit-and-run combat as means to accomplish social and monetary equity. His work Hit and Run Combat, distributed in 1960, illustrated his methodologies and speculations for leading progressive fighting. In 1965, Guevara passed on Cuba to help progressive developments in different areas of the planet. He originally went to the Congo to aid the progressive battle there, yet his endeavors were to a great extent fruitless because of an absence of coordination and neighborhood support. Unfazed, Guevara proceeded with his mission for worldwide insurgency and put his focus on Bolivia. Bolivia and Last Battle. In 1966, Guevara furtively entered Bolivia with a little gathering of progressive contenders, planning to impel a more extensive upset in Latin America. His central goal was to make another point of convergence for equipped battle and motivate progressive developments across the landmass. In any case, the Bolivian lobby confronted various difficulties, including troublesome territory, restricted help from nearby populaces, and extraordinary resistance from Bolivian and U.S. powers. Guevara's presence in Bolivia was ultimately found, and he confronted mounting challenges in his endeavors to support the upheaval. In October 1967, Guevara and his companions were encircled and caught by Bolivian powers. Notwithstanding allures for his life and endeavors to arrange, Guevara was executed on October 9, 1967, in La Higuera, Bolivia. Inheritance and effect. Che Guevara's inheritance is both celebrated and challenged. In Cuba, he is hailed as a public legend and saint for the reason for communism and hostile to dominion. His picture, especially the notable photo taken by Alberto Corda, has turned into a worldwide image of progressive intensity and obstruction. Guevara's works and speculations keep on impacting progressive and radical developments all over the planet. His obligation to equipped battle against colonialism and civil rights has enlivened incalculable activists and political pioneers. Nonetheless, his techniques and the results of his progressive exercises have been subjects of discussion. Pundits contend that Guevara's accentuation on savage unrest and his dictator approach prompted huge affliction and flimsiness in the districts he tried to free. Notwithstanding his progressive exercises, Guevara's effect reaches out to the fields of financial aspects and political hypothesis. His thoughts on communism, close-quarters combat, and hostile to government have been examined and bantered by researchers and specialists in different disciplines. Guevara's vision of a unified and impartial world remaining parts a strong, but quarrelsome, ideal. Conclusion. Che Guevara's life was characterized by his resolute obligation to progressive beliefs and his journey for worldwide civil rights. From his initial encounters in South America to his vital job in the Cuban transformation and his ensuing endeavors in Bolivia, Guevara's effect on history is significant and persevering. In spite of his unfortunate end and the debates encompassing his strategies, Guevara's heritage as a progressive symbol keeps on inciting thought and motivate activity. His life and work offer important illustrations on the intricacies of political battle, the difficulties of executing progressive change, and the persevering through journey for an additional fair and even-handed world. Thank you for watching.